I know what you're thinking. I know you probably clicked on this video like, this guy has lost his mind. It is May and he's talking about fall scents. What is happening? Some of you might have even clicked on this video thinking like, wow, this guy's an idiot. He probably meant to schedule this video for like 3 months down the road, but didn't and accidentally hit publish. You'd be wrong. We are actually here to talk about my top selling fall scents today here in May, and here's why. The reality is, if you're not testing your fall scents yet, that's okay, but you are going to want to start thinking about getting that started here pretty soon. I would say within the next month or so. And the reason I actually start testing my fall scents so early is just because if you release like Christmas type scents or whatever, Christmas, winter, whatever you want to call it, type scents and stuff, most of the time people are buying those like almost the second that Halloween ends, and sometimes even before. People are like, all right, I'm ready, I've moved on to Christmas. And I know there's like the whole debate of, oh, you forgot Thanksgiving, and you know, let's not get started on that right now. But the reality is that people do tend to start buying Christmas scents almost immediately after Halloween ends. And sometimes, like I said, even before if they can get their hands on them. So the reality is like you just kind of want to start getting tested on fall scents a little bit earlier, just because Christmas, winter scents come up really quickly after that. They start definitely like a whole month and a half before winter even technically actually starts. So I just highly recommend that, you know, you get started fairly soon. And I don't mean that to like pressure you or make you feel like you're behind or anything like that. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine. The reality is though, I just really love fall scents. Fall is like my favorite time of year, and I know that like pretty much everyone says that, but yeah, I'm just basic, I guess. I don't know. So for today's video, like I said, I'm gonna be showing you guys all of my top selling fall scents that I've had now, whether they came out last year or the year before. These are the ones that have been my best sellers. So my very first one is actually, it's a great fall scent, but it is not one that I only have available during fall. I keep it available year round because honestly, it is one of my best sellers. I would say it is my second best seller overall. Over all of my candles all throughout the year, but it definitely picks up even more so during the fall months, and that is because it is Warm Snickerdoodle. I don't know if you can even see it on there or not. This is the only what are these, 5-pound jugs? Yeah, that I have ever bought. This is the only scent that I've ever bought in a 5-pound jug because it just constantly sells out. It constantly, like, I'm constantly having to make more of it. It is a bestseller pretty much all year round, but it definitely picks up even more so in the fall and winter months. And to be honest, I can't blame people because it is honestly one of my favorite scents, probably to burn any time of year. It's just a really nice, warm, kind of cinnamon sugar type scent, and I just love those type of scents, as do a lot of people, to be honest. So highly recommend Warm Snickerdoodle from Candle Science. And then this next one, you're probably going to be able to guess why it's a bestseller. It is named after the famous pumpkin spice latte. So pumpkin spice latte from the Flaming Candle. I bring this back. I've had it every year so far that I've been in business for fall, and every year it sells out. I always have to restock it at least a couple times during the fall season because people just love it. It is just like the perfect mix of pumpkin and coffee, essentially. I was gonna try and elaborate more, but like literally it's like, it smells almost exactly like the drink from Starbucks. It is like, it just smells so good. It is one of my favorites. I burn it every year. Even though I've had it for a couple of years now, I still burn it every year because it is just such a good fall scent. Hold up before we, let's put those away. before we get to the next scent, it would mean so much to me if you guys would give this video a thumbs up as well as subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I make videos all about candle business type content and things like that. So if you are running a candle business or another small business, I like to give out lots of tips and tricks on how to do that effectively. Next up, we have a scent from Midwest Fragrance Company. This was definitely by far my best seller last year. I actually had to restock it twice, 2 or 3 times, which is a lot for me because I usually make a lot just right up front so that way I don't have to restock as much. But this one, like, we took it to a market before it was even available, like online or anything, and it sold out at the market. So then we had to make more before I even launched my fall collection and stuff. But that is Honey Spiced Pear from Midwest Fragrance Company. This is definitely my favorite fall fragrance, like, possibly of all time. Honestly, I would burn this year round too. I've considered just adding it to my line for year round just because it is so good. But it's also kind of one of those things where sometimes I'm like, I want to add it to my year round line, but then other parts of me is just like, I want to just keep it all for myself. And then there's another part of me that's like, you know, if you make it available all year round and it's not as special for people, and you know, it's a whole thing. So I'll probably just keep it for fall, but I'm already like so excited to start making this one again for this year because it was definitely a huge seller for me last year. I'm just reminding myself all over again how much I love Honey Spiced Pear. It is such a good scent. It is like the perfect amount of honey and spice and a little like citrus fruity, but like a fall citrus, if that makes any sense, like pear, I don't know. But it is a really good one. I highly recommend it. And then this next one is honestly another one that I've thought about adding to my year-round collection. It is Toasted Pumpkin Spice from Candle Science. The reason I've thought about adding it to my year-round collection is because during the fall I actually call it pumpkin cinnamon rolls because that's exactly what it smells like. It smells like really good cinnamon rolls, and not like every cinnamon rolls or cinnamon buns, whatever fragrance oil I have tried from companies so far. I've tried the Flaming Candle, I've tried Midwest's, I've tried Candle Science back when they had one. They no longer carry it, but I've tried like a few different ones, and every time there's something about them that just doesn't smell quite right to me. Like it has a weird burning scent. Like when it's burning, it just smells, I don't know, like there's just something there that doesn't smell quite right to me. It doesn't quite give that smell of like cinnamon rolls and stuff. But this scent is like literally almost smells exactly like freshly baked cinnamon rolls, but with like a little bit of pumpkin mixed in. And so that's why I call it pumpkin cinnamon rolls, as you can guess. But Toasted Pumpkin Spice from Candle Science was definitely another top seller last year. I didn't have it the year before just because I didn't know about it. So, but yeah, it was definitely a huge seller last year, and I definitely plan on bringing it back this year just because everyone like seriously loved the scent. Almost everyone who got it sent me messages and they were like, oh my gosh, this is the best scent ever, and yeah, stuff like that. It is a really good fall scent, and again, like I've said, I've thought about adding it to my line year round and just taking off the pumpkin and just calling it cinnamon rolls or something, because like, yes, it definitely has pumpkin in it, but I would say it's almost more heavy on the cinnamon side of things. But it's such a good cinnamon type scent. It's like just a nice bakery scent. So if you're a big fan of bakery scents, this one is gonna be your go-to. And this next scent is another one of my favorites. To be honest, all fall scents are like my favorite. Fall is like the time when honestly I have like the most bakery type scents, which are my absolute favorite. And I probably need to scale back a little bit on the bakery scents. I do have other scents for fall, but they usually don't sell as well. So like, for instance, I usually do autumn leaves. I do some kind of, it's called Fallen Leaves. It's from Candle Science. And it does okay, but it doesn't do as well as like the more bakery type scents and stuff like that. I also do like a cranberry scent and stuff like that. I always try to add in a few others. But again, those usually don't sell as well as like my bakery type scented candles. So we do a lot of bakery scents, especially for fall, and a few for Christmas as well. But this next one, like I was saying, it is called Bourbon Butterscotch. It is from the Flaming Candle. It is just a really good, like, sweet butterscotch type of scent. It almost, I think I call it, like butterscotch candy or something like that, because I wouldn't say it's super heavy on the candy side. You definitely do get the bourbon in it, but it just is like this warm kind of like butterscotch scent that is just so good. I can't remember if I call it, it's either like butterscotch candy or salted butterscotch or something like that. I ended up changing it this past year, just because the first year, I think I called it butterscotch toffee the first year, and this last year I'm pretty sure I called it salted butterscotch, something like that. But either way, it's just a really good scent. It's very, yeah, it's very heavy on the butterscotch side of things, almost like a warm butterscotch pudding or something like that. It is just so good, and my customers always love it every year. It doesn't sell quite as well as my others. It's definitely still like in the top seller status or whatever, which is why it made it into this video. But I would say it's probably kind of on the lower end of my top sellers. It does do fairly well. I always get some questions though every year, like what does butterscotch smell like? I guess people weren't as familiar with it as a kid as I was. Like, I feel like my grandma always had butterscotch candy with her and stuff like that, and so like she was the typical grandma, you know, and so like to me it's like a very, you know, nostalgic type of scent, and it's something that I smelled a lot as a kid and stuff, and so, but I guess other people maybe just didn't have that same experience with it, so a lot of them don't fully know exactly what it's gonna smell like and stuff, but when they do smell it, they end up loving it, and so yeah, it is, like I said, definitely one of my top sellers. And then last but certainly not least, I love this scent so much. I know I've said that for every single one because I do. Like I said, I'm a basic fall person. I love all the bakery type scents. But yeah, this one is definitely another top seller, and that is Apple Cider Donut from the Flaming Candle. The Flaming Candle does really good with their fall scents, I will say. They have some of my favorite fall scents. They're always nice, really strong scents, and I never have a problem with cold throw, hot throw, or anything like that. And they always end up being some of my top sellers. So highly recommend, if you haven't ever checked out the Flaming Candle, I highly recommend, especially for fall scents. They've got some really good ones that I think that will do really well for your business. But as I was saying, Apple Cider Donut, it is just the perfect fall scent. It's kind of mixes in like that apple cinnamon, but it smells different than like your normal apple cinnamon that you'd get at like any, you know, like you can get any apple cinnamon type scent. It definitely has like that donut characteristic of like cinnamon sugar, type thing. If you've ever had an apple cider donut before, it like smells almost exactly like that, but with like a little bit more apple. Because I feel like at least most of the apple cider donuts that I've had, they're like not super apple heavy, like they're definitely more like cinnamon sugar type thing. But this definitely has like a good amount of apple in it, where it smells so good when you're burning it, honestly. And it has been probably my best seller. I would say possibly it's been like my best seller overall. I've had it for the past few years, and every year I have to restock it multiple times because people just love it so much. And so yeah, I always get people after fall who like message me and ask me if I can like send them one or if I have any extras, and I usually will if they ask or whatever, but yeah, it is definitely a really good fall scent that I would highly recommend. So that is it for my top sellers, but I did want to go ahead and show you guys just a couple of the scents that I am actually really excited to try out this year from Midwest Fragrance Company. I'm excited to test these out. I actually got them I think I got them towards the end of last year, but I never got a chance to test them out. And so I am excited to test them for this year's fall collection. But the first one is warm apples and peaches. So I know that sounds like a weird scent for fall maybe, but like I just think of when I smell this, it reminds me of like a peach cobbler, but with like, more apple, or like a warm apple or peach cobbler. And that's like what I think of when I think of fall, because my grandma used to make us like peach and apple cobblers a lot when we were young and stuff. And so it always just makes me think of warm apples and peaches. And so this is one that I am excited to try for this year. And then another one also from Midwest Fragrance Company. I actually have it from both Midwest and from Candle Science, so I'm gonna kind of compare and contrast probably both of them just to see, but it is Pumpkin Caramel Crunch, if it'll load. Pumpkin Caramel Crunch, and so I'm also excited about that one. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. A lot of people love it, and so I've heard it more so from people who love it from Candle Science, so I am going to try both of them out just to see if there's any difference in like the smell or the hot throw, cold throw, etc. And so we'll see which one wins. But those are my top selling fragrances. I know what a lot of you are probably thinking, like, Nick, those were all bakery type scents. What if I don't want to have a bakery type scent for, fall or whatever? That's totally up to you. Like I said, these are just my best sellers. I do have other fall fragrances, but these are the ones that definitely always sell the best for me. And I know that they're all bakery type scents, but that's just what my customers tend to love, and I love them personally, so it just kind of works out for me that I'm totally fine with making all of the food type scents, especially during the fall, because I just love that time of year, and it's a great time for food type scents. And like I said, it's not that my other scents don't, still sell and stuff like that. There definitely is a market for other types of scents. So for instance, Fallen Leaves from Candle Science is a really good one. Like I said, I wouldn't classify them as top sellers, but they do still sell really well. Like I never have trouble like running out of them or anything like that. Fallen Leaves from Candle Science, Cranberry Apple Marmalade from Candle Science as well. Apples and Maple Bourbon, that's another good one from Candle Science. Those are all Candle Science scents. I can't think of any others or whatever from other places, but those are some other good, not necessarily bakery type scents or whatever. So if you're looking for something a little different, I would definitely test those out. They might be your top sellers with your customers. It just kind of depends. I feel like everyone kind of has a slightly different market and stuff like that. And so my customers just happen to really love bakery type scents. But that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys would like to hang out a little bit more, you can check out one of these other videos that are about to pop up on the screen, and I will see you there.